Welcome guys, I'm Exhausta and this is the first video of the new league in which we are going to review the new changes to the Atlas passive tree. So 12 new Keystones were introduced and a lot of passive notables were shuffled inside the tree. The keystone I am more excited about is the 7th gate. All possible league map grafting options are available while 6 gateways are allocated. Now in 3.22 the map crafting options available are pretty damn good, but still some are missing. You don't have Harvest, you don't have Beyond, which is very good, and Abyss, which in my opinion is one of the best choices for Magic Find farming strategies. This keystone in my opinion is a true game changer because there are some leagues in which you want to play a certain specific farming strategy such as Essence, but you really can't because you don't have the map crafting option available. Essence without the crafting option feels just bad in my opinion, and having the extra flexibility to do whatever you want, whenever you want, in any league is something really fantastic. And to be honest, the requirement of the 6 getaways in the big picture is not even that hard to achieve. As you can see, we have the Eldritch gateways on top of the tree. Then we got the Cryptic gateway and the Mortal gateways. Now the Eldritch ones are the easiest because we always want to get the map modifier effect in pretty much any farming strategy, especially Magic Find farming strategies. So you just need 2 passive points to allocate the Eldritch gateways. Now the Cryptic gateways are also very easy because this path over there is a path that you almost inevitably take while going to the top side of the tree. So yes, that's another 2 passive points. Finally, we got the Mortal gateways. These are a bit harder because these zones of the tree are a bit far off and are surrounded by mediocre passive notables. We have a cluster for Metamorph here, Bestiary, Beyond is good. The other side might be a little better. We have June, which is whatever, but we also get Legion, which is a very beloved mechanic. So most likely you're going to select the Mortal Gateway from the right side of the passive tree and just allocate the other ones, and you're done. Next up, we got All Hands. Your maps have plus 40% chance to contain a random master encounter, and all of those modifiers that grant you an additional master mission on completing a map are converted at 150% of their value to apply instead the chance for that master to be randomly encountered in your maps. Now this is very synergistic with these 4 passive notables here because all of them provide 100% increased chance for master missions when completing a map. So to be honest, this keystone is kind of controversial when you think about it, because if you want to farm, let's say, Einar and Nico, you can easily rely on Scarabs, which also empower the league mechanic. And if you want to play June and Alva, you can just use the Sextants, right? I think this is mostly useful for Alk and Go, for early league scenario, or maybe if you have a farming strategy in which you can't fit a master with Sextant and you want just to add it with these extra passives. Now let's go to Endless Tide on the left side of the tree. Beyond portals cannot spawn unique bosses and they have 50% less merging radius. For a very long time we have been complaining that after we spawn a Beyond boss, Beyond portals will not spawn any longer. You will not get any more Beyond demons. Now this is a fix, a good one, but the minus 50% merging radius is really a huge deal in my opinion, because in practice there might be a situation for which you cannot get enough merging radius to spawn Beyond demons anyway. Yes, you can increase the Beyond portal merging radius with these small passives over there, which is good, but the less multiplier is much more impactful than the increased multiplier. So In my opinion, if you're not juicing that much, getting a boss early on is quite rare and there is not really reason to allocate this keystone. On the contrary, if you really are juicing a lot and getting bosses very soon in your maps, as it happens in juiced EV farming strategies, then this might be the keystone for you. Beyond also received some extra love with a full passive cluster on top of the tree. We got some interesting small passives, which are beyond item quantity, 5% for each up to 20, and this can easily be doubled by using Gathering Winds. This is a fantastic choice for any magic find farming strategy. We also got the passive notables. All of those will increase the chance for demons to belong to a certain type: Gore, Beirat, and Katash. Now, for each type, you have different bonuses: 30% more unique, currency, or divination cards. Now, if you're going for divination cards only, if you want to drop the Apothecary, 7 years bad luck, you can unallocate these two and just leave Swarming Hive on. But in my opinion, the most powerful choice is to keep all 3 passive notables. And here is why. The problem is that even if you increase the chance for Beyond Demons to belong to Katash, you will still get many Beyond Demons which are not belonging to Katash. And so, if you want to maximize your profit, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to also empower those other spawning demons that belong to Beirat and Gore. Now, close to the Beyond cluster, we have Meticulous Appraiser. Modifiers to quantity of items found in your maps instead apply to Rarity at 300% of their value. Now, if you roll a map pretty well, you have about, let's say, 100% quantity, which can go up to 140 if you get 8 modifiers with a Vaal orb. And if you also have, let's say, map modifier effect, item quantity, and rarity, I can see these going up to about 180, 200% quantity. And if you multiply that by 300%, you get 600 rarity. 600 rarity is just mind-blowing. If you think about it, a normal map has about 40% rarity. Having 600 will certainly mean that you're getting showered constantly with uniques. The only issue I see here, though, is that losing all of your quantity of items found to rarity means you're dropping a lot less items. And 200% quantity maps drop 3 times more loot than a 0% quantity map. This is not like Magic Find. This is not affected by diminishing return. You are literally getting 3 times less loot than you normally would. So yes, you're getting a lot of uniques, but you're also getting a lot less items. I don't know if the balance will be good or negative overall. This should certainly be tested, but keep this in mind before you get disappointed. If you want to farm uniques, in my opinion, the best way is still to use the explicit from Kirak maps. Next up, we got Tormented Spirits with the Keystone Speaker of the Dead. Tormented Spirits can possess players for 20 seconds, but they cannot possess monsters. Now, Tormented Spirits were substantially buffed by GGG with a lot more life and also a better AI that will target rare monsters more constantly. And in this way, I think that possibly Tormented Spirits can finally have a role in the meta. They also swapped the passive notables Unrelenting Torment and Sins for whatever reason, and they added this other cluster that provides an additional Tormented Spirit. Nothing special really, but whatever. The main limitation about Speaker of the Dead, in my opinion, is this sentence here in bracket. Players can touch up to 50 nearby normal or magic monsters. And this is the big deal. 50 monsters are not that many. In a very juiced map, you get like 10,000 monsters. So let's say you have 10 tormented spirits, that would only be 500 touched monsters. That sounds a bit underwhelming if you ask me. And also these touched monsters are only normal or magic. And we know full well that only rare and unique monsters have a substantial loot multiplier. So yes, I think the Speaker of the Dead has had great potential, but these limitations are going to keep these from becoming a meta choice. Now, I can still expect a very specific farming strategy around Tormented Spirits. Basically, you get possessed by a Tormented Spirit, then, while farming divination cards with strong boxes, you open the strong box that has 500% quantity from monsters, and you apply the bonus from these small passives here. 20% quantity of items dropped by touched monsters in your maps. This is very powerful, especially when combined with Wandering Path. This is up to 120% quantity of items found. It's absolutely insane. So 500% from the boxes, 120% from the Tormented Spirits, plus your Magic Find gear. That should result in very good potential for divination card farming. The next two keystones are Bold Undertakings and Overloaded Circuits. Now, Bold Undertakings provides a bonus to Fortune Favors the Brave, which can now apply one additional random option, even though the cost of the Fortune Favors the Brave is doubled. Then you have Overloaded Circuits, which provides 3 random notable Atlas passive skills for any league map crafting option that you choose, and it increases the cost of the map crafting option itself. Now, this can be used together potentially to get 6 free Atlas passive notables, but I can also find other use cases. For example, let's say you're farming essences. Now, essences only have 4 passive notables, so let's say you pick this one, you allocate this one at the start of the tree, and you still miss the passive points at the yearly league to allocate Crystal Lattice, Crystal Resonance, and Amplified Energies. You don't have the point, maybe you don't have the Orb of Unmaking, whatever. You just allocate Overloaded Circuits, and whenever you select essences, you also get all of these passive notables you might miss. This is, in my opinion, a very powerful keystone that should not be underrated. Another keystone with great potential is, in my opinion, crop rotation. Harvest crops in your maps contain only tier 1 plants, while harvesting crops has also a chance to upgrade the tier of plants of different colors. So tier 1 plants, tier 1 do not drop life force. Tier 2 plants, they do drop life force, but in very little quantity. Tier 3 plants and tier 4 are the good ones. They drop massive amount of life force, and you should try to get them. Now, we don't know how high the chance to upgrade a tier of plants is, but keep in mind that tier 1 plants are extremely common. You have like 20 for harvest crop. You also have other 8 tier 2 plants. So in total, you could upgrade up to 30 tier 1 plants to tier 3, which means that from a single harvest crop, you might as well get like 10,000, 20,000 life force. It's that good, okay? Basically, they are turning harvest from one of the most consistent game mechanics to a very gambling-oriented mechanic, which is, in my opinion, very fun for people that enjoy harvest. It might be a nice change of pace. Ritual also got some new keystones. We have Arbitrary Tenets, favors at ritual altars in your maps randomly cost between 90% less and 80% more. And then we got Immutable Dogma, cannot reroll favors at ritual altars in your maps. Monsters sacrifice at ritual altars in your maps grant 100% more tribute. Now, rerolling favor is one of the main key mechanic of ritual altars, especially when you get special rewards. So I think this keystone is probably one of the best, if one of the worst, if not the worst keystone of the Atlas right now. We have then Arbitrary Tenets. This is on paper good because overall you're getting 10% less favor cost, but in reality the issue is that when the favor will cost 80% more, you will be basically unable to reroll. And in certain cases you might reroll and then find out that you don't have enough deferral power for, let's say, the Ferra mirror. So yes, I think that these keystone for rituals were kind of lazy. I don't like them. Instead, a nice addition was the Lucid Dreams for Vaal side areas. Vaal side areas in your maps are no longer corrupted and you can simply craft them with your Chaos Orbs and other currency. This is something really cool in my opinion, but Vaal side areas really require some massive rework on their rewards. And they partially did. As you can see, you get 20% chance for rewards from Vaal vessels to be duplicated. And we also have somewhere the other cluster for Vaal side areas, which provide 20% chance for Vaal side areas to be an alluring Vaal side area. This was already present on the Atlas in 3.21. But yes, they reworked the rewards of Vaal side areas. They can drop level 21 gems. There are also 3 unique Vaal side areas that could be found, but I think that this is still not enough to make them interesting. Sure, some people will experiment with them, and I'll also let you know if something good comes out of them. Next we have Legion with Timeless Conflict. Legion encounters have no timer, but breaking out monsters and chests progressively causes a schism, and once the schism bar is completed, then finally you can start the encounter. I think that this is really cool because having no timer on Legion really will help these lower builds. And to be honest, even if you have a fast build, by just selecting one extra passive notable, you will have a much more quality of life. In a similar way, we got more quality of life for Expedition with Extreme Archeology. Basically what it does is that instead of having 4 or 5 explosives, we only get 1, but it is very large, 200% larger. So basically this will allow players that don't enjoy breaking the flow of mapping in just clicking once and unlocking most remnants and minions inside the expedition encounter. I definitely love this keystone. A keystone many players were excited about is Unending Nightmare. Delirium fog in your maps never dissipates, Delirium orbs cannot be dropped, as well as Simulacrum splinters. Now, on paper this seems cool because you get a permanent Delirium fog, and we all know how frustrating it is for your Delirium mirror to run out. But the issue I see here is that having no Delirium orbs, no Simulacrum splinters, your value from the Mirror of Delirium is very limited. If you really want to have your Delirium fog to be permanent, if you really want those extra monsters, instead you could just use some Delirium orbs. So let me know guys what you think in the comment. Why do you think this is good? But I honestly think this is a bit of a noob trap. The last keystone is a bit of a fun one. We have Cassia's Pride. Blight towers and their minions in your maps deal 300% more damage, and Blight monsters take 75% less damage from players. Now, this is clearly converting the Blight gameplay in a true tower defense, in which players have very limited power against monsters, but towers can really make an impact. I must tell, this is very good for early league when your character is too weak But it is also a very fun addition for players that really want a different experience, a fun one. That's it about the Keystones, but I want to explain another few changes that occurred in the Atlas. One is particularly impactful in my opinion. They changed the position of this essence cluster. It was located here at the place of paranormal meeting, and this position is much harder to reach in my opinion because this lane here is a lane of passage, whereas you have to actively move towards the left side of the tree to get these essences over there. There were also additional changes to the shaping passive notables. We still have shaping the skies and shaping the mountains, which stayed the same, but we lost access to shaping the sea and shaping the valleys. Now, shaping the valleys was located in this position, and it basically provided Fortune Favors the Brave with flat extra 10% quantity and 10% pack size, which was extremely good for generic mapping. Then we got shaping the seas removed. It added 3% chance for map to drop with a special implicit. Instead, we got shaping the world, which serves good for map sustain. Final map boss in each map has 5% chance to drop an additional connected map, and maps found have 10% chance to be one tier higher, which is in common with the other shaping notables. So these were the changes for the Atlas Passive 3. I am particularly happy about the 7th gate and the extra quality of life for Expedition and Legion. There is a lot to experiment, and I think that these new Keystones have the potential to shake the meta in a good way. I will see you in the next video about tips and tricks for Magic Find builds.